We also have this drawing on technical drawing for school certificate and GC written by J.N. Green. And here we have the front and end elevations of a cylinder are shown. Draw an auxiliary plan looking in direction of the arrow. So this is the arrow, and this is the front elevation, and this is the end elevation. And we are to produce this auxiliary plan in the direction of this arrow. Okay. The dimensions of the front elevation and the end elevation are not given. For the end elevation, I'll be using a diameter of 50 millimeters for the circle, and then I'll be using the length of the cylinder as 70 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to do here right now. Okay, so the angle at which the arrow or the angle of view is not shown to us. That is the arrow. That is the angle at which the arrow is inclined to the horizontal is not given to us. So I'm going to determine that myself. But before we talk about that, let's first of all draw the end elevation, and then we draw the front elevation. Then we go on and see how we can produce this auxiliary plan. Okay, so what we are to do first is to draw a horizontal center line. So we are to draw horizontal center line. So so I'm going to draw a horizontal center line like this. Okay. All right, so we have it, the horizontal center line. Then we are to draw a vertical center line, So so we have it. Okay, so we have a vertical center line like this. All right, so here we have it. And the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to divide the diameter of the circular end by 2. So that is 50 by 2 will give us 25 millimeters. So I'm taking a measurement of 25 millimeters on the ruler. Now put the pin or the compass here where the two lines intersect. Then I will turn it round for me to have a circle. So here I have a circle. Okay, so all right, so here we have the circle like this. Okay, so then the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to divide this diameter into a number of equal parts. So I want to divide into 10 equal parts. That is 5 millimeters each, because the diameter is 50. So 50 by 10 will give us 5. So, okay, we are going to take 5 millimeters. Okay, so this is 5 millimeters. So this is 1, and then this is 2. So here is 3. Okay, so then we have this to be 4. So this is 5. Here we have 6. So this is 7. So this is 8. And then this is 9. We have 10. All right, so then the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to draw horizontal line from this point. So we draw horizontal line in this direction, and then we come to this point here. So we come to this point. Okay, so at this point we also draw horizontal line to this side. Okay, then we come to this point here, so we also draw horizontal line to this side. So coming to this point here, okay, so we draw horizontal line to this side. Okay, so at this point also, so we draw horizontal line. So we draw horizontal line, so to this side. So we have this, and then so also at this point, so we draw horizontal line to this side. Then so up here at this point, so we also draw horizontal line like this. So at this point we also draw horizontal line. So then at this point, so we draw horizontal line here. So then here we also draw horizontal line. So we have this. Okay, all right, so so let's see the next thing that we are to do. Okay, so let's see the next thing that we are to do. So so let's move away. So from here, so we move away a bit from here, and then so we draw a vertical line. So we draw a vertical line. So I'll make it a thick line at once. So I'll make it a thick line at once. So here we draw a vertical line. So from here down, so like this, we have this. All right, so then I'm going to take a measurement of 70 millimeters from here. As I said that the length of the cylinder is 70 millimeters. So I take 70 millimeters. So this is 70 millimeters here. So I'm going to draw a vertical line. So I will draw vertical line, so from here to here, so we have this. All right, so and then so I'm going to make this length, I'll make it a thick line, so making this length a thick line, so from here to here, okay, and then make this length also a thick line from here to here. All right, so we have this. So let's get the angle of view. So the angle at which the arrow inclined to the horizontal, or make it 90. So that means we are viewing the object at an angle 90 degree to the horizontal. So we have this. So the arrow is at angle 45 degree to the horizontal. So we have this. Okay. All right, so let's show the angle. So draw, and so we put 45 degree here. So this is 45 degree. So that is the angle at which the arrow is inclined to the horizontal. So we have this. So the next thing that we are going to do is that, so we need to come to this point here. Okay. So as we see it in the drawing, so I'm not going to draw for both sides. I will only have the point on this side. So on the end elevation. So I will draw a vertical line from here up, okay, like this. Then coming to this point here, so I'll also draw a vertical line up here. So and then at this point, so I'll also draw a vertical line. So at this point, so draw a vertical line at this point. So we also draw a vertical line here. All right, so then so we come up here. So we draw a horizontal line. So from here to here, and then we are going to number the points. So this will be 0, okay, this is 1, and this is 2, so this is 3, so this is 4, and then we have 5 here. Okay, so for this point, so now so let's look at the next thing that we have to do. So we are going to this is the front elevation. For us to draw the auxiliary plan, we have to produce line from each point that we have on the front elevation. So each of these points here, each of these points here, then the lines will be at 45 degrees to the horizontal. They have to be parallel to the arrow. So that's what we have to do. So with the 45 degrees set square, so I'll come to this point here. Okay, so at this point I'm going to draw a line like this, and then coming to this point I will draw a line. So at this point I will draw a line. So at this point I will draw a line. Okay, we have this, and let's shift it up. So at this point, so I'll draw a line. Okay, so also at this point, so I draw a line like this at this point. So we draw a line. At this point, we draw a line. At this point, we draw a line. Okay. Then, so coming up here, so we still have 2 more on this side. So here I will draw a line, and here we draw a line. All right, so I need to extend these lines. So let me extend them. So we extend this. So we also extend this line. So we extend this line. All right, so all right, so we have this. So then we now come to this end here. So we also do the same thing. So so we draw a line from here at 45. So draw this also. All right, so then so at this point we also draw a line like this, and then this point we draw a line, and so here we also draw a line. We draw a line. Okay. Okay. And last one here. So we draw this line. So we need to extend these lines. We need to extend them. So I will All right, so we extend this also. All right, so with what we have here, so then the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to move down a bit. Okay, so and then so we draw a line, a center line at 45 degree. So this line will be at right angle to each of these lines. Okay, so then this point will be so this point here, so this point will be 0 down here, and this also 0 up here. So we have this point to be point 0, this also point 0. So we now transfer this point that we have here down here. So with the compass, so I'm taking this distance, so from here, so from 0 to 1, okay, so put it at 0 down here, so make an arc here, and you make an arc here, so we have this. Then from 0 to 2, so 0 to 2, so take this distance, so put the pin at this point, make an arc here, so then you make an arc here. Then from 0 to 3, so 0 to 3, okay, so we have this, so put it at this point 0 here, so you make an arc here, you make an arc on this side. Then 0 to 4, 0 to 4, so we have this, so put the pin here, so make an arc here, and then make an arc here. And last one is 0 to 5, 0 to 5, okay. Then so we put at 0 here, so make an arc here, then make an arc here, okay. So we have this. So the next thing that we are going to do is to transfer this point to the other side. So with the set square 45 degree, so draw a line from this point to the other side, also from this point to the other side, from this point to the other side, from this point to other side, and then from this point to other side. So we come here, also we do the same thing by transferring this point to other side here. So we'll do the same thing here. All right, so we have this, so we need to number this point that we have here. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, okay. So here we have this to be 4, and this is 5. So we have the same thing here. So this is 1, 2, so 3, so 4 and 5. So the points are close, okay. So now, so let's look at what we are going to, when we are looking at the object in this direction, we are standing on this side, okay. We are standing on this side, not here. We are standing on this side looking at the front elevation of the object. So I'm going to see the circular hand that we have here, okay. I'm going to see the circular hand, while on for this side here, I will see the curve that is facing me on this side, but the curve that we have here, it will be hidden from us. So we are going to work on that here. Now let's work on this one, that we are going to see the whole of the circle at this end. So just follow me. So here we have 0, okay. Then so we have 1, okay. So we also have 1 here. So next we have what? We have 2. So we have 2 at this point, okay. We have 2 at this point. Next we have what? We have 3, and at this point we have 3. Next we have what? We have 4, okay. This is 4, okay. And here we also have 4. Next we have what? We have so we have 5, so this is 5, and here also we have 5 here. So next we have what? We have 4, so this is also 4, okay. Then we have what? We have 3, and this is 3, okay. Then next we have what? We have 2, okay. Here on this side we also have 2. Then we have 1, here we have 1. Then here we have what? We have 0, okay. So this is for this part that we are going to see the whole circle at this end. Then coming here, we also have the same thing. So we have 0 here. So this is 1. This is 1. Then we have 2 here. So this is 2. Okay, sorry, this is 2 at this point. Then we have what we have 3, and this is 3 here. So we have 4. Then this is 4 on this side. Then we have what we have 5, and this is 5 here. So here we have 4 on this side. This is 4. Then we have what we have 3. Okay, on this side this is 3. Okay, then we have what we have 2. On this side this is 2. Then we have 1 here, while on this side we have 1. Okay, so you can see what we are then. We have 0 here. Alright, so all these points will be connected together with the use of French curve. So let's start with the one of that we are going to see the whole circle on this end. So with the French curve, so we connect this point together. So okay, so I can connect this point. Okay, so we have this, and okay. All right, so then all right, so then on this side, so we connect so this point together. All right, so we have this then on this side. And here we also connect this. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so coming up here, so this curve here, I don't really like the way it looks, so the point is not really taken there. All right, so it's better. All right, so coming to this side, as I said that for this part here, we are going to see the whole of the curve that we have on this side, but this one, that the curve that we have here will be hidden. The curve that we have on this side is from here to here, so which will be hidden from us. So we are going to draw that with short dashes line. Okay, so that will be hidden, so we use short dashes line to show that. Okay, so we have this. So we are not done with it, so we still have to come and get it drawn here. Okay, so let's leave it like that. And then so on this side, so we also have the same thing on this side. So this is, we are going to see the whole of the curve on this side here. Okay, so we connect this together, and then so on this side, and then so we connect this together, so we have this. All right, so and then I think that part that I used, so we didn't make it to show. Okay, so we have it like this. All right, so what we have to do last is to make this, connect this 0.5 together, a straight line, and then we also connect this together with a straight line. So here is the auxiliary plan of the cylinder. So as simple as I've shown it here. All you have to do is to practice. Thank you, and God bless you.